Today is Saturday, July 27th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, NVDY, and MSTY. Now, being that it's Saturday, we're covering the trades from yesterday, which is Friday, so obviously it's one of the busiest days, and of course, yes, all four of the funds had transactions. So I'm not going to forget on this video. So if you guys do not mind, if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button, thumbs up button, whatever you want to call it, punch the button, whatever you want to do. Because again, it does sometimes by the time I remind people, I do it at the end of the video, and not most people, but a lot of people click off. So they're not necessarily reminded. So this video, I'm going to do it in advance, and I'm going to shoot for 600 likes on this video, which I think is very attainable. So if you guys want to help me out on a Saturday video, being that there's 4 trades, let's see if we can do that. Anyway, enough of that. Let's move on. So first, we'll focus on TSLY. All right, so what did they do? So when you see 3 trades, I always say it's 99% of the time, it's them either adding or removing to the synthetic and then adding a new position or closing an old position. So in this example, if you see a B at the top, that's a buy call that they are adding to the synthetic. So they're doing a buy call sell put, first 2 transactions, they're adding 650 contracts. And if you look to the left in the middle, they're adding it to the 260 strike price. And then right on the bottom, that is the weekly call, 8/2 expiration. That expires next Friday. Again, 650 contracts, 230 strike, and they got 281 for their troubles. So let's take a look at the spreadsheet and see what the data looks like. So first here is TSLY. TSLY has 2 synthetics. The 260 is what they added to. So they added 650 contracts. So keep in mind, this synthetic is very far away from the current price. The current price of TSLY is $219.80. The synthetic is $260, 15.46% away. Expires 8/16, 21 days. So very risky to add to this synthetic. But since they did, that's why they got a massive credit on the put side, right? They got $2.5 million on the put side, and they had to pay $74,100 on the call side. So, in the end, they got about $2.5 million, and that gets added into the July profits. Earnings date, we can delete this comment. And then, I guess, delete it off the 265 as well. So this is their other synthetic 265. Obviously even higher than the 260. This is 17% away, but they only have 1,315 contracts on this one. So again, 21 days until those synthetic positions expire. How did TSLY do yesterday? TSLY went down by 0.2%, and TSLY went up 0.07%. So it's always nice to see when the underlying has a down day, but the ETF has an up day. And especially, it's possible when they make a trade, because when they make a trade, they're collecting premium for the most case, and that premium gets added into the cash position, which increases the net asset value of the fund. All right, so where is the new position? It's right here. So they made a new position, 650 contracts. They got 281 for their troubles. They chose a 230 strike, though, and it's 4.64% out of the money. And that's with 5 full trading days. That yielded on an annualized basis 66%, based on a 47% IV. So again, slightly aggressive there. The other positions leading into next week, they got various positions here. So 230 was a pre-existing position, so now they have 1,200 contracts there. The next lowest is their largest position, 31,735 contracts, 235 strikes, 6.92% out of the money. So that's a little better. And then they have 1,315 contracts, 237.50 strike, 8.05% out of the money. So, we'll see. Tesla's been unpredictable lately, so who the hell knows? But they've been doing pretty good, of course, until this synthetic, expires. We'll see. Outstanding shares had an increase of 100,000. Not bad. So that puts them in the total outstanding share bucket of 50 million, 50,000. All right, so the summaries, their 30-day IV is 47%, but the weekly calls produce a loss still, but only of 22 million. So it is what it is. Again, they have a bad synthetic. So, they're saying, the question is, are they saying they're number one, or are they saying I came in today just to do one trade and then I went home? Because as we know, they didn't really have to come in, right? But since people bought in, they're like, all right, let me do one more trade and then I'm out. I'm bouncing for the weekend. All right. So I don't know. We don't know. They're just sticking up their number one, the one finger. Maybe they think they're number one now. I don't know. They're getting cocky here. But synthetic income for TSLY for the month of July is 125 million. Short call loss we spoke of, it's 22 million. So we have to look at total net income when we're seeing like what we're going to get paid. The total net income is 103 million. So if you look at that per share basis, that produces an income of $2.06. They have next week as well. So prediction time will be the following weekend. But as of right now, what are they going to pay? Over $1. I think so. It's pretty safe to say that. If they roll their synthetic next week, then we'll be having a different discussion, right? And we'd be saying more so that they're going to just pay what the IV is. But if they keep it like this and they show a total income of $2.06, there's nothing to stop me to say that they'll pay more than what they paid last month, and they'll pay maybe in the $1.50 range. Who the hell knows? Again, this is their flagship fund. This is their first fund that came out, this and OARC, but this is really their baby. So to have a good yield, especially two months in a row, that might be something they want to do. All right, so if we look at the holdings, nothing to talk about really, except we could focus on the synthetic. In pink, that's the put part. That's the part we got to worry about. We got to pay money to close that position. Right now, it's going to cost us a pretty penny. So it's about, 139 mil. The buy call side, we're not making much right there, about 3.4 mil. But again, we got time. We got like 3 weeks until the expiration of that. And then we got the 3 calls heading into next week. Nothing to really talk about there yet. But the net asset value of TSLY is 756 mil. The NAV is at 1512 and trade price is 1511. So that is TSLY. Now we will move on to the GOAT, Mr. NVDY. So what do you think? 3 transactions, of course. Buy call, sell put, sell call. So what are they doing? They're adding to their synthetic, and then they're adding a call for next week. Simple, right? No need to go through that. We'll just take a look on the spreadsheet and see what it looks like. I think in time, for the most part, most of you can look at an intraday trade and just know. Obviously, it helps to plug in numbers on a spreadsheet to understand like what actually happened, how it affects it. But, you can look at it and get an idea of what happened and did they do well, did they not do well. All right, so they added 1,650 contracts as we saw. And look at that, gigantic credit on the put side because, the underlying is priced well below the strike of the synthetic. So it's 10.98% away, also 3 weeks away from this synthetic. But again, we'll see. But for their troubles, for adding 1,650 contracts, they made about 2.2 mil, which adds into the July profits, which is actually, a loss at this very moment. Why is it a loss? Well, as you recall, the day prior, they decided to close out 40,145 contracts. So oddly enough, the same synthetic that they closed out about half of their position on, they're adding back to. So what the hell are they doing? I mean, I don't know, man. This is a lower strike. So it's 1.69% away. Typically, when they add to a synthetic, they would add to the closer synthetic, right? So if we go here again, let's double check. Yeah, buy, call, sell, put on the 8/16, 127 strike. So 1650 contracts. Okay, so that's what they did. So why would they not add to this synthetic position and not the other one? Obviously, the benefit here is the gigantic credit you get for starting that position. But again, I don't think their job is to time the market. So, of course, if NVIDIA goes up from here, they'll be profitable, much more profitable, or because they'll get a credit from that. And then maybe they'll get a credit when all said and done. But I don't know. It's unusual that they're trying to move from one synthetic to the next. And then when they added money to, one of the two synthetics, they chose the one that's much further away, in price. So what do you guys think of that? Very confusing. Not like them to do that. So again, whatever. All right, so July, let's go to July. What the hell's going on here? Well, NVIDIA yesterday went up 0.69%. NVDY went up 0.71%. So guess what? ETF win. So ETF beat underlying. So that's good. But what else happened? So they added a position, right? 1650, okay. They chose a 120 strike, 6.14% out of the money. With 5 trading days, is that okay? Let's see the annualized yield. All right, so they shot for about 61%. We look at the IV, it's about 56%. So it's kind of in line, a little, more aggressive. But again, this is based on the 30-day average IV. The others, though, heading into next week, they are a little scattered. The lowest of the bunch outside of the 120 is a 122. That's 7.9. Wait, the one. How is the one? Oh, no. Yeah, 120 is the lowest. I'm sorry. Yes, and the next lowest is 122, 7.91% out of the money. That's for 79,190 contracts. Had a brain fart for a second there. And then we have 1,100 contracts at a 123 strike. That's a little further out of the money, 8.79%. All right, outstanding shares did go up by 575,000. So here's the summary. We got 30-day IV, 56.4%. Outstanding shares, 36,150,000. Net income from the weekly calls, 39 million. So that's good. That's showing to be a distribution of $1.09, daily income of 5 cents, daily yield of 0.18%. And if you annualize that, it's about 64%. So they are yielding approximately 64% just on the weekly calls. And their IV is 56%. So it's safe to say they are doing better than, their goal. So that's good. Reaction, they had the magnifying glass yesterday, so they felt like they knew what they were doing on the synthetic when they chose a new one. And then what do they do yesterday? They add to the old synthetic. So I don't know if this guy's nerdy or like if he thinks he's smart and he's not, but he's got to explain himself. So what do you think, buddy? What are you doing? Yeah, I don't understand it, do you? But yeah, who knows, man? It's again, don't want to harp on such a, it's not that big a deal. I get it, but sometimes when you're doing these spreadsheets, you feel like you're so involved and you have to question certain things as you catch it. If it strikes you a little odd. But anyway, let's talk about synthetic income. They have a synthetic loss of 42.5 mil. We talked about that, right? Because you know, when they closed out part of their synthetic. That's what happened. So we're going to focus on short call income alone. We know they're doing good there, right? They made about 39.4 mil. So if we take that and we, share that with all the outstanding shareholders here, we are looking at $1.09. So if you take $1.09 and you figure out, okay, how many days are left? What would that estimate be? What are we going to get paid? I'm showing about $1.55, which is a 72% yield, and that's pretty good. If they pay $1.55, that is more than the $1.25 that they need, which means, again, they would be paying back essentially all of the original, investment. So if you invested at launch, which not many of us did, but still it's cool to know that they would have paid back basically the entire original launch price in distributions. And on top of that, there's still capital appreciation in the fund. Of course, a lot of that is thanks to NVIDIA, the underlying, for doing so well. But still, it is nice to see an income fund like this, an aggressive income fund, perform this well, even though there's some funky trades. So, all right, holding wise, let's see. So we got the synthetic in pink. We got two synthetics, of course. And then we got the bottom in orange. Those, the pink put, orange call, right? So, and then in blue, of course, these are the weekly calls for next week. The birds are extra loud today. Maybe it's the weekend. Maybe they're ready to party. But net asset value of NVIDIA is 928 million. The NAV is 2569, and the trade price is 2567. So that's the summary on NVIDIA. Next, hopefully my video is not delaying. I know it did a little yesterday, and I forgot to reboot my phone. So I apologize if there is any delay. Hopefully it's not too bad. That's what happens when you record on a phone. Even the newer iPhones, sometimes, I don't know why it does this, but it just starts delaying. I think these videos take up a lot of storage. All right. Anyway, next up is CONY. All right, so CONY decided to BC by the close the rest of their call, 15,800 contracts. They closed it at 11 cents. When you see 11 cents, you can be like, okay, smile, I'm good. They did well. All right, and then new position looks like a 272.50, same amount of contracts. They got about 456. Okay, nothing crazy, nothing that looks bad. We know CONY's not doing insanely well like they usually do, but still. All right, so no additions to the synthetic since July 17th, right? Like, what? How is that possible? Like, why are you not buying? I bought CONY. I bought 10 contracts the other day. I'm sorry, 10 shares of CONY, but 10 contracts. Yeah, I wish. But yeah. So anyway, their synthetic, their strike is at 250. Coin is kind of just below that, 242. Also expires 21 days away, 8/16, but again, only 2.83% away. Not bad. Now, let's see how they did yesterday. So we're going to go 3 for 3. Let's see. Coin had a gain of 4.93%. CONY had a gain of 3.94%. So yeah, CONY, you ruined it. Thanks a lot. We're now 2 for 3. So it is what it is. That's not bad though. So what are we looking at? They closed a position. So they closed, forgot to grade out I did grade it out. So the day before, they closed out the position. Let me get it all. Yeah, it's pretty good. So they closed out 15,000 contracts. They only paid 7 cents. Yesterday, they paid 11 cents. So they paid 4 more cents for waiting. Should we beat them up about it? No, that's not that's really, who cares? So they won. Profitable, awesome, great. Because in the end, what they pay? A little like 170,000. Profit for that, those contracts, again, about $6.4 million. So to the point of why do we buy these funds, that is why. Because they're making money on options premium, right? The weekly calls is really the money maker, right? The synthetic, we can't really do much, right? I mean, they can control the timing a little bit, of course, but the synthetic, all its job is to track the underlying. What the underlying does, you can't blame the fund managers for that, okay? Because it does what it does. Of course, we can question if they start opening, 2 synthetics, 3 synthetics, and their timing is bad. Yes, of course. But as far as like just the movement of the underlying and the timing of it, it's like, sometimes nothing you could do. But anyway, how about the new position? So they did make a new position, again, 15,800 contracts, 272.50 strike, as we said, 12.17% out of the money. So if you're wondering how in the hell are they able to go that far out of the money and yield 97% on an annualized basis, well, we talked about this yesterday, because when I covered it yesterday, I was surprised, I forgot. But they have earnings. They have earnings on August 1st, next week, which is 1 day prior to the expiration date. So they are collecting a decent sized premium for that exact reason, because it is super risky to trade over earnings, trade options over earnings. It is even riskier to trade anything crypto related over earnings. So that is why they are getting a very nice premium for doing so. So we have to enjoy it. Hopefully they are correct with their strike prices, right? Now, as far as outstanding shares, they have 38. No change. They have no change, but yes, they have 38,325,000. So that's why no trades are coming. No one's buying. 30-day IV, 79%. That should go up hopefully into next week. We talked about outstanding shares, and as far as weekly income is concerned, income from the weekly calls, they are still at a loss of 33 mil. All right, so reaction. Not much of a reaction, to be honest. CONY's fund manager's been having a rough month, but he's not like. It was more so in the beginning of the month. It's kind of settling down. So he's not. He doesn't have his smile back. Hopefully his smile comes back for the month of August, but we'll see. Now for the month of July, as far as income is concerned, they do have synthetic income of 19.5 million, but the short call income debit is loss. It's much greater than the synthetic, so they're at a loss of 13.6 mil. So no estimate to provide you from this screen. All I can tell you is if they're going to, they are going to pay something. And typically, if there's no data I can provide here, just look at their IV, implied volatility, take that and multiply that times the current price of the ETF, and then divide that by 12. And that should be, around the range of what they're going to pay. Now, outstanding holdings, again, synthetics, we got 21 days away from that. And then we got the new 2 calls heading into next week. Nothing to really talk about yet. 748 mil for the net asset value. The NAV is 1953 and the trade price is 1952. Okay? So, yeah, nothing crazy with CONY. Let me take a sip of water before we talk about MSTY. Okay, here we go. So, we talked about how yesterday, should they have closed out the call, right? They had a weekly call that expired on 7/26, and MSTY was down. It was cheap. How much did it cost? I honestly don't remember, but I would say $18 range, maybe. I don't know. I did mean to go back and check my video, but it was less obviously than what they would have been. They would have been in a profitable position, and we thought, okay, should they have closed early? It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? But after seeing a day like yesterday, obviously, if you look at how much they paid, look at the BC. Buy to close, 726. Okay, that's the 1675 strike. They paid $97. $97 per share to close out the position. So if you're looking at that number, you don't have to do any spreadsheet crap. You're just like, oh, damn, we lost. Yeah, we lost. Okay. So it turns out they should have closed out the position yesterday. Of course, easy for us to say. It's come and gone, right? But it makes you think. A fund like this, if you get to Thursday and you're down and you could get out with a profit, maybe at least worst case scenario, cut it in half, right? Close half, like kind of how CONY did this week. So I hope this is a learning lesson for the Misty fund manager, because this is pretty bad. Now, the new position, I'm not going to lie, this was bad too. Just look at how much they're making, 97.10 they're making on that. Are you really like forcing yourself to make a little more, to make 10 cents more than what you lost? So very disappointing. That's all I'm going to say. Let's get into the details. All right, so we got the 1550 synthetic, right? Nothing going on though, nothing added. When's the last time we added money to this? July 17th. Good, the same as CONY. But again, this synthetic, this expires August 16th. They are actually in a profitable position. So if there's something good to say about Misty right now, they can make a lot of money on the synthetic bailout. And the even better news is they have a forward split coming in the future under MSTR. Forward split, not reverse split. Someone asked me yesterday, wait, is Misty having a reverse split? No, absolutely not. MSTR, which is the underlying stock of Misty, is having a 10-for-1 forward split. So you will get 10 shares for every 1 share you own of MSTR. And then, for the underlying, that's a great thing, right? It's a great thing because it makes it much more affordable now for the masses. Because who has $1,752 to buy 1 share of MSTR? And even if you have that, who wants to buy 1 share? People like more shares. I know it doesn't make sense, but especially new investors, right? If they want a piece of MSTR, 10-for-1, it'll be what? 170, 175 or so, right? So I don't know. But either way, $175 easier to buy than $1,752. But yeah, so that I think typically leading up into forward splits could cause an increase, a jump into the fund. I don't know, maybe. And then after that, sometimes it tanks, but we'll see. We can't freaking predict. We're not here to time the market. We just have an idea of how things flow. But anyway, let's move away from this synthetic. But I just wanted to cover that. So how did MSTR do yesterday? Well, we can get an idea based on what they paid, right? It went up 9.1%. So good Lord. Obviously, you can't predict that. MSTY went up 4.13%. So in the end, we went 2 for 2. But, MSTY, they were going to be capped either way. So again, we talked about this. The day prior, it went down. Believe it or not, we were in a, bad position in the beginning of the week, but we had a chance to get out in a profit. And that's the other thing. We were so underwater. The fact that we had a chance to get out making a profit, should they have closed it out? Yes, I'll be that guy and say yes. Yes, you should have. What the hell is wrong with you? Again, easier said than done, because I'm sitting on the outside talking crap after. But obviously yesterday I did make the comment of, well, maybe they should have, right? Because we don't know. These, like MSTR is so unpredictable that you have to, if you get that far in, all right, just pay it, right? You get to the 4th freaking day, you got 1 more day, you're in a profitable position after getting destroyed, close it out, right? Because they could have closed it out at what? 19 bucks? Again, I don't remember, but it was enough that was worth it, maybe. Maybe it was less than 19. And whenever I ask Jay this question, just FYI, guys, his response is they typically would only do that if they're still yielding what their 30-day IV is, which in this example is 94%. So my argument to that is always, okay, so even if they could not yield the full IV, the 94%, is it worth the risk of what happened yesterday? I mean, if you can yield 70%, isn't that still helping your position? So, moral of the story is, for stocks like MSTR, who have very high implied volatility, if you are destroyed, way underwater, in the money all week, and then you get to Thursday and you're actually out of the money, should you close out all or part of your position? My answer is abso-freaking-lutely. So lesson learned here, hopefully, because they paid $97 per share. They got $48 credit. So obviously this is a losing trade. They lost 12.4 million. All said and done, they lost 12.4 million because they just did not make the right move, in my opinion. Whether or not they couldn't because of the prospectus, right? It didn't jive with the prospectus. That's another story, right? But again, yeah, at least close half. That is my argument then. Close half. No reason not to. CONY did it. Why couldn't you? I don't know. Anyway, get ready for this. All right. So back to MSTY fund manager being very emotional. And I think this proves it again. 2,535 contracts. Again, same amount. 1775 strike. Okay, what's that look like? 1.27% out of the money. 1.27% out of the money. Yes, that's what I said. 1.27% out of the money. I almost have to second guess myself here. What is it yielding? I didn't even look at this till now, honestly. 288%. I'm sorry. This is freaking ridiculous. Again, I don't know the timing of the trade, so I could be an a-hole here. Sorry for my language. For, saying this is ridiculous, but it could have risen, after they did the trade. Like, they could have did the trade. It could have been like, more out of the money. Yeah, I don't know. To me, again, I didn't follow the chart of MSTR yesterday, but this just looks ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. It's like being beyond aggressive. Now our upside into next week is 1.27% essentially. Obviously, plus or minus, whatever the synthetic helps with. But this sucks. This just sucks, right? But I don't know. I got nothing to say but bad things about that move. So let me move on. Outstanding shares, oddly enough, on the same day, that's what you get. You get a decrease of 275,000. All right, 30-day IV, 94%. Outstanding shares, 14.5 mil. Net income is not income, okay? It's not. It's a loss of 11.4 million. Why is it a loss? Well, how much did we lose? We lost yesterday. We had to pay out of pocket 24.5 million. So, of course, we're at a loss. And guess what my reaction is? I'm sorry, but you deserve it. You deserve it, Misty Fund Manager. You're getting the poop. Because that was poop. That was nothing but frickin' poop. Poop, poop, poop. 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 All right, synthetic income, 6.9 million. Short call loss, 11.4 mil. So we got a net loss of 4.4 mil. So again, we are not producing, similar to CONY, but we knew this. This is not news. It's not a profitable month. So when it comes to what is Misty going to pay, again, look at the IV, multiply that by the share price, and divide that by 12. And that should be what they pay. Is it going to be like what they've been doing, 4, 2, 3? Probably not. It'll probably be in the $1 range. But again, next weekend will be estimate time. But we shall see. All right, holding information. Not much to talk about here. I mean, obviously their synthetic is doing well. We said that. That's the good thing about this fund. So 69 million they can make on the call, and they only pay 17 million to close the put. So that's good. That is the good part. However, we are freaking capped already, almost capped on their call heading into next week. So if MSTR has a massive week, then we're just going to sit here with our thumbs up, you know what. So anyway, net asset value of this fund is 441 mil. The NAV is 30.28 and the trade price is 30.50. So that is MSTY. I wish I had better news for you guys. But again, and people can say I'm wrong for questioning this, but it's sometimes there are questionable moves, and I have to be honest with what I think about it, right? If you guys disagree, obviously you don't have to watch. But it is what it is. I'll give my opinion, and I am no options expert, right? So believe me, they are the experts, and I know it's not easy. So, at the same time, it's not fair. But we are here to cover it, to talk about it. So we got our own money in it. So of course we could say what we want. Of course we could judge, the people investing our money. Why the hell not? If we can't do that, then why are we buying, right? So either way, can we do it better ourselves? Probably not, right? They'll still probably do better. But it's just the luck of the timing. Again, I get it. What if MSTR went down yesterday? They look like freaking geniuses then. But how much would they really have saved, right? Maybe a lot, but still more than what they lost. No, there was no way, right? They took, that was the absolute worst case scenario based on what happened yesterday. So again, we just hope, you hope it's a lesson learned. But for now, that's it. Just the poop, zoom in just so they know over the weekend. They probably got drunk last night, but for now, they have to get the poop emoji. In fact, they should wear the poop emoji hat when they come to the office on Monday. And they should probably wear it all week, but who knows? We'll see. I don't know if maybe they should have a poop emoji little statue or like plaque or a trophy, right? Congratulations, you have the poop for the week because you made the poopiest move. But anyway, enough about poop. So that's all I got for the trades. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. Hopefully I didn't upset anyone. But again, I just try to cover my best and I try to not butt in too much. But again, I have to say what I feel sometimes. And, it's just some things don't work out. And it is what it is. Like I said in the beginning, if you guys enjoy this content, please always hit the like button. It goes a long way. It's not easy. Staying on top of this, especially when they got every single damn fund has 4 trades. And I got family home from Florida, so I've been out away at night after work. I had to go to a party, and it's like, oh my God. But yeah, people reminded me in the Discord, did you see the Misty trade? And I was like, I saw that message. I'm like, oh no. And I looked and I almost cried, and I don't even own Misty, but I do have it through Ulti and YieldMax. I don't know if it's still an Ulti, but it was before. But yeah, so like I said, if you guys enjoy this content, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button. If you have any questions, concerns, or you want to give me your thoughts on any of the trades for this yesterday, let me know down below. I'd like to hear everyone's opinion. Some people, man, they write some long comments. So, if you could summarize it, it'd be helpful. But I do read your comments, even though it's a novel. There should be like a character limit, right? Like Twitter. But anyway, guys, again, I just want to say thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for being a part of the community. And thank you for hanging out with a sweaty guy in the garage. No spiders today, so that's a good thing. So just poop, just plain old poop emojis hanging out. So anyway, keyword. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you can post it down in the comments to prove it, right? To prove that you actually watched this ridiculous video all the way through the end, right? And what is the key word? That is the question. What is the key word? What is the key word? I guess take the damn profit. All right. Today's keyword is take the win, take the damn profit, take whatever, right? You know, sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes you can't get greedy, let it go to the end. Sometimes you just got to close it out, take the damn profit and move on. And yes, of course, if they closed out, I forgot to mention this, if they did close out the position on MSTY on the Thursday, they would have been capped probably heading into next week. But that doesn't matter because, again, they would still have 5 days. MSTR could have jumped down, right? After a big day like that, MSTR could have came down. But again, we're sitting here, we're judging them. Who are we? We're a bunch of sweaty guys in the garage. I get it. But who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, the keyword is just take the damn profit, or take the win. Especially how it's been trading. It was just a perfect outing, perfect scenario to get out with the win. But instead, we are sitting here with poop. They would have got a very good emoji had they closed it out Thursday after seeing yesterday. However, they are sitting with poop. So I'm sorry, Misty Fund Manager, but I had to give you the poop. You don't get the poop often, to be fair. So, this used to always go to the TSLY Fund Manager, but now things have changed. TSLY Fund Manager getting promoted, getting a bonus this month. So nice. Anyway, guys, I gotta get moving, get my ass to the gym. But I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Later.